Hi everyone, I am Samidha Hegde. I am interning with LEXIS and Company. I am a third year law student studying in Ramaya College of Law, Bengaluru. And today we are going to be talking about conditional transfer under Transfer of Property Act 1882. Now, transfer of property can take place in two ways, that is absolute transfer and conditional transfer. So, in absolute transfer, there is a complete transfer of ownership immediately. There are no conditions attached to such transfer. It is unconditional and the transfer takes place immediately, and there is no qualifications required for such a transfer. It could be sale, gift, etc. Now, the other kind of transfer is conditional transfer. Conditional transfer can be of in two ways, that is condition precedent and condition subsequent. Now, condition precedent is discussed under section 26 and condition subsequent is discussed under section 29. Condition precedent is when certain conditions have to be fulfilled before the transfer of property. That is, you will have to perform the required conditions as mentioned in the agreement or as asked by the transferor before the transfer takes place, and only after completing such conditions you will get the ownership of the property, that is transfer will take place and you will become the owner. Now, condition subsequent is when transfer of property takes place first and later you are required to perform some act or fulfill certain conditions. Like for example, if I say that I will transfer you some property and later whatever income you make from it, take care of this person X from that income. Now this is a condition subsequent, that is you will have to fulfill this after getting the property, and this has to be taken very seriously because such a transfer is dependent on you fulfilling the condition, and you cannot say that I did not read such a condition and I did not notice it and therefore I couldn't fulfill it. You cannot make that kind of excuses. Now, under section 25 there are certain conditions laid. If these conditions are present, then such a transfer will be invalid. Now, what are these conditions? So, you can put certain conditions while transferring the property, but it should not be these conditions that are mentioned under section 25. That is, first condition is it should not be impossible to perform. So you cannot make a condition like you have to grow crops on this farm in 2 days. Now this is an impossible act. It is not humanly possible to perform. Crops cannot be grown in 2 days. Now any such acts which are humanly impossible to perform, if you put such a condition, then such a condition will be invalid and there will be no transfer of property. Next we have if it is forbidden by law. It should not be forbidden by law. Any specific law of the land should not prohibit such a condition. Like for example, you cannot say that I will transfer this property to you if you go and murder some person. Now that is forbidden by law, and that is why such a transfer will be invalid. And next we have such a condition which if performed will defeat the provisions of law. Now let's understand this with an example. Now let's say in India growing a certain kind of weed is illegal. Now take this as an example, and you will say that to some person B that I will transfer you this property in India, and let's say that person owns a property in some other country where growing such a weed is legal. Now you say that I will transfer this property to you in India which you can make use of, and you will be the owner, but you will have to grow this particular weed in the property that you own in that country and deliver it to me. Now, even though it might be legal in that country, but it is defeating the provisions of the law in India, and that is why it cannot be such a condition which will defeat the provisions of law. And next we have, it should not cause injury to some person. Like I told you, it cannot be like you go and murder some person or go and cause grievous hurt or injure some person, and if you do so then I will transfer it. Even that is not permitted. And it cannot be for fraudulent conditions. Again, it is fraudulent is similar to prohibited by law. That is, you cannot say that if you go and deceive a person and get this much money from that person, then I will transfer this property to you. Now such that is fraudulent, and even that is not permitted, and such a transfer will again be invalid. Next we have, which is condition which is immoral or against public policy. For example, if you say to a person that if that person abandons their family and leaves their family behind, then you will transfer certain property to that person. Now this is immoral and against public policy, so even such a condition will be invalid, and there will be no transfer. If all the above mentioned conditions, even if any one of the conditions exist, then there will be no transfer of property. The transferee will get no interest in the property, and these conditions will be invalid. Such a transfer will be invalid. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you understood what is conditional transfer under Transfer of Property Act. I have also made other videos under Transfer of Property Act explaining different topics. Please do check them out, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel and press the notification button for more updates. Thank you.